There has never been a more important time to take care of your spiritual practice and your spiritual attuning. So, what does that mean, right? It's a really wild time. 2 billion people are awakening right now. If you have been on a spiritual path for the past 10 years, 8 years, you are probably far more ahead than you think you are with your spirituality, which is a really exciting thing to think of. Like you're one of the light keepers. Now, if this is something super new for you, cool. Either way, most likely you're dealing with some sort of transformation and some sort of change on a deep level. And I want to give you a couple of insights on how to manage the changing of the energy and how to listen to your body's innate wisdom. Super important and amazing skill to have is to be able to understand what you need to get to the next spot. And you always have the answers within you, which is such an amazing gift. It's like you don't need a spiritual guru, a book, you don't need anything. You, as an individual, are the tuning instrument that you need and listening to what you need next. So it's very likely during eclipse season that you have been hearing something that needs to change, right? So we also have the holidays coming. Maybe you've had a loss of someone close to you and you haven't fully nurtured that loss and allowed yourself to deal with it in a way. In our society, it's like you're mourning for 3 days and then like put your boots on and get on out because that's all you got. When mourning is a lifelong process and one we don't really understand and do very well, I would say, in Western culture. Perhaps you're holding on to something you haven't told someone, and that's weighing down your energy. Maybe you're not living at your full potential and you keep hearing this calling that there's more, there's something you should be doing. Perhaps it's a habit that is expired now. You're like, all right, I'm done with this same habit. I want to upgrade a little bit, and you're having a really hard time. Most likely, you're having more of a hard time having it than you were 6 months ago because as the energy is speeding up before this huge what we're calling the great awakening for December 21st solstice is these things, old wounds, they're going to be coming up, and we're in eclipse season. So basically the eclipse happens so that we can stop and eclipse a behavior and open up and say, okay, it's time for me to let go of this, right? And it's really important that we do this. So if you've been on a spiritual path for a long time, then it might be easier, but it still might not, right? Like it's funny how things come up for us, and when you're on a path of healing, how your ability to continue to heal is going to get tested, and that's really what the game is all about. Every time we bring in more energy and heighten our frequency, we have the capability to heal the next layer of the wound or the trauma. It's literally like the next thing that's calling to you for you to learn is your next mission, right? That's your next healing. So ultimately you'll be totally clear in a clean vessel, and that's what we want to do, right? So it's so exciting. So what I do with some of my clients, right, is have them create a spiritual practice that works very specifically for their own behaviors and their lifestyle and things like that. So some of the things might be journaling, might be breath work, it might be prayer, it might be silent meditation, guided meditation, vision work. I do a lot of vision work on really bringing forward and creating a life that by design, a life that you want to live. An important thing is to increase your sleep, watch the food you're taking in, and really listen to your body during this time. Avoid the shoulds. I was getting into shoulds in the beginning of the week, having a really hard time with some old stuff that was coming up that I thought was long been healed. And I started hearing myself say, oh, I should be through this, or I shouldn't have to deal with this right now. I was so surprised. And really checking that there is no should. It's simply the information is coming through. This is something that should be worked through next, and then you do it. You do the work that comes up. You don't say I should have been through this like me, right? You want to deal lovingly and unconditionally with your growth, much like you would a beautiful loving partnership that you're in. Your partner comes to you and says, I really need this to happen. You listen, and it's the same with your body and your tuning, right? So Also, not taking in as much news and social media right now. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of negativity going on. I'm not saying you don't take the right actions, but you definitely don't need to listen to the news 10 hours a day or be on social media 3 hours a day. Like, plug in, find out what you need to find out, and then unplug. Protect your energy. It is going to reinforce all the relationships in your life. One of my spiritual teachers this morning was talking about all of the challenges that parents are having with kids right now. And really beautiful suggestion to simply manage your own energy so well that you are your best self. You're living your best self. And that is going to be the most supportive way that you can be for your children, because they're going to respond to whatever energy you're giving off. So to have the most graceful transition into a leap that we're going to go on December 21st is to really manage your energy and let yourself be in a higher vibration, and really saying, I'm capable of holding this space, and I'm only going to do as much as I feel good about. Like, you don't have to be 100% in a good mood all the time, right? Like, it's almost not possible. But you can be moving upward always, versus allowing yourself to go back and go, oh well, I'm just going to give up, or I can't, or I'm just worried. No, unplug everything and be like, I'm putting down this worry. That is the most important thing you can do. So if you're looking for more guidance in this is what I love to do. So yeah, if you want a coach or a guide, I love to help people with spiritual awakening. I have a few different programs on finding your true mission in life. That's a really cool program. I've had great transformations with that, as well as I do some leadership and emotional intelligence work to help you really relate to others better. There's a negotiation piece in there that I just love. And then the spiritual awakening work is really awesome. It's really all encompassing. When you think of becoming your best self, the more subtle the work that you do, the more powerful and the transformation in your entire life. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you and see if we're a good fit, and keep up the good work and keep your spirits high.